Hello again, I am the old duck. So, it's been about, what, 7-8 months since I got my 2017 Diamondback Recoil 29er. So this is about a follow-up review. I kind of meant to do this at the 6-month mark, but I've been kind of busy lately. So, here we are at the, I'm pretty sure it's about 8 months. I know I got this thing in late January, so we're coming up on late August. So 8 months later, how is this thing holding up? Well, first of all, I just got done with a ride, actually. I like to do these bike reviews just fresh off the trail. I'm actually still here at the South Mountain Reserve. Anyways, so first the tires. The rear tires, you can see, is it's got some baldness going on here in the center. But I've got like a good 600 miles on these tires now, so really this isn't too bad. Just forgive the occasional car noise you might be hearing, because like I said, I am still on the trail. I'm right kind of near the parking lot, so there's some cars. Anyways, so the back tire, it's kind of going bald. I need to replace this tire, which I'm planning on doing very soon. Front tire is looking a little bit better than the rear. There's not so much, you know, like the treads are still good in the middle, or sort of. It's still kind of going a little bald. It's just not as bad as the rear. I'm guessing because that's not where the torque is. But, you know, either way, 600 miles on these tires, that's 500-600 miles. It's actually pretty good. Next, the gears. I've had no problems with the gears whatsoever. I've been keeping them adjusted properly because, like any bike, they do get out of adjustment sometimes. It's easy. You just kind of adjust the shit on here and get it back in adjustment. I've had no problems with the shifting. You can shift under power amazingly. It's great. Same goes with the front and rear disc brakes, those Tektro Aries. I had to tighten them up last night before I came on this ride, just a little bit, because especially on the rear, because the brake pads were kind of wearing a little bit, but that was easy to do. Brakes are still working good. They're mechanical disc brakes, no problem there. And then comes suspension. The suspension is where I'm starting to have some issues. Well, I'll start with the rear suspension. So I kind of had this thing a little bit looser than how it was supposed to be. This piece was up a little bit too high, and the spring wasn't actually meeting this, so this whole spring was actually moving back and forth, making just a shit ton of sound. It was the only way to really get like the full range that you should typically get on a mountain bike, at least with someone of my weight. But the sound that it was making was absolutely horrible. So I kind of tightened it up a little bit. I put this right up against the spring, then tightened it 5 turns just to make sure that it won't come loose. So the spring doesn't move back and forth now, but I'm gonna try to do this while I'm holding the camera. That sound, well, that sound right there, yeah, that's this. And for the life of me, I don't know what the fuck is making that sound, because I gotta get this thing. Okay, well, I gotta get the bike. Okay. And my phone overheated. Oh boy, well, that's Arizona for you, 100-degree weather. I'm sorry if you hear some background noise. I'm inside now. I had to take this bike inside, and we finished the review in here, and I'm right underneath my air conditioner, so there's gonna be a little bit of noise. But yeah. So anyways, that noise you heard coming from this mid-suspension, I don't know what's causing that, to be honest. I thought maybe it was just too loose, but it's tight, so yeah, I'm guessing maybe the suspension just isn't that good, and this has to be replaced with something a little better, which is what I'm thinking. And I probably will get around to doing that. It's just gonna be, you know, it's gonna be kind of like $200 to upgrade that suspension, so, you know, it's gonna be something that I have to work on little bit by little bit, because, you know, that's not too cheap unless you've got a lot of money, then in which case it doesn't matter. But in my case, you know, it's going to take a little bit of time. But anyways, the front fork, this is the funny part. Now these preloads, something weird happened with them. I can loosen them all the way, they'll lock, and that's it. But when you try to tighten them, I don't want to tighten it just because I don't want to show you just because I think I got it perfect here. But if you try to tighten it, what happens is it never actually gets to a point where it stops. It just goes and goes and goes, and then it hits and makes this weird sound, and it just keeps going. So I think it's like something like 13 turns or something to where it'll finally lock, or it won't lock. It's like something like 13 turns on both sides before it makes that noise. and then it'll finally stop making, I think that's maximum tension on it, but something has definitely happened with the preload mechanism in this fork, and that's a bit of a problem. I'm not even really sure if it's equal, because as you can see here, now I don't know if I'm just seeing things. No, I'm not seeing things. This side, because you can kind of see where the dust has settled on it, this side is higher up than this side. It's not too evident from what I'm seeing on the camera, but just from where I am, it's definitely noticeable. There's a lot more on this side than there is on this side. So it looks like this side is going down more than this side, so I don't even think it's accurate. It's not quite right. And when I was going down the trails today, I kind of went on some downhill, and I heard this loud clanking sound coming, like loud, hard, violent clanking sound coming from this front fork every time I kind of hit a bump. So yeah, this fork is kind of screwed up. So that fork is going to have to be replaced as well. So, you know, all in all, this bike has actually held up pretty well. It's just, you know, some of the parts are not amazing quality, or really it's just the suspension. The suspension is bad quality, and I think at this point that's going to have to be replaced, just for safety reasons and also for sound reasons, because it sounds horrible while I'm riding, and also just most importantly for safety reasons, you know, because if the fork is if it's flexing like that, then that could be a problem. You know, the suspension, if there's something loose in there that I don't know about, and you know, what happens if this thing breaks or something while I'm going down full speed? That would suck. So yeah, all in all, aside from the suspension, this bike has held up really well. It's just the suspension. The suspension is a little worse for wear, but I might see about getting some suspension upgrades, and if I ever do that, which, well, I will, when I do that, when I do some suspension upgrades or get it serviced, whatever, I will do another follow-up review in another 6 months. We'll just do like a full, you know, year after review of this bike. I think that'd be a good thing to do. So yeah, suspension, tires need to be replaced, but the rest of the bike holding up great. If any of you have any questions or comments, just leave them in the comment box below, and I will respond as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. I am the Old Duck, and I will catch you next time.